Is there a possibility the Pirates could run off some wins this week? Because again, they're playing two Missouri teams, and neither of them are really, really good right now. And the Royals are one of those teams. They're not, but they. Excuse me. I will say they do have a talent, and it's one that you love to talk about. And we're talking about strat leagues ever. If you ever hear us mention that, um, Bobby Witt Jr. I wanted to say this, and I held off because the series is coming up. But you discussed how O'Neal Cruz, like the Pirates need O'Neal Cruz to be on that level of MVP type of caliber, right? Touch type of caliber. There's a shortstop on their team, I'll say, that's starting to creep up towards that right now. So talk to us about Bobby Witt
Yeah.
Jr.
Yeah, definitely a talented individual. Number 2 overall pick in 2019. He made his debut last year, played the entire season with the Royals, held his own, was basically a league average hitter, had a 2020 season, 2030 season even, 20 homers, 30 stolen bases. He's now already eclipsed that. He's probably looking at 30-30 this year. He's sitting at 26 homers, 38 stolen bases. He's got a WAR hovering right around 5 now, as a 23-year-old. I think you mentioned last night he's second in the American League in WAR, or at least in hitting WAR. So the
That
dude
wasn't
is.
me that said that, if so.
Oh, okay. I don't know who that was then, but
I talked
somebody
about
somebody
Mookie
mentioned
Betts.
that. Okay. Well, Bobby Wood Jr. is second in the American League behind Julio Rodriguez in hitting WAR. So kind of incredible that the two of those guys they came up together, at the same time. They're one and
That's a good
two in the
point.
American League now. But yeah, the guy is truly truly developed. He's an elite defensive shortstop now. The speed, the power combo. He's kind of everything that you kind of hope for when you draft a toolsy young shortstop. I mean, he's developed into just your ideal shortstop, like in the majors. So yeah, it'll be kind of cool for Pirates fans to see him because he's an exciting young player. Like I said, he's got a lot of his skill set is built to last, and I'm excited to kind of get some eyes on him. I pay attention to him, just because we mentioned the Strat League. I'm the Royals owner, so I'm very heavily invested in Bobby Witt Jr. But no, he's an exciting player. No, he's the second best hitter in the American League right now.
Yeah.
But behind Julio Rodriguez, and if you want to say Otani's in that conversation too, obviously because of the power. But yeah, Bobby Witt Jr. is everything that you kind of hope O'Neal Cruz could become, just like from the right side.
For sure. So I go back and say, what's he doing recently? Since the trade deadline, what's Bobby Witt Jr. up to? And that's part of the story also because like last year, you saw talent, like, but stats and production wasn't really there. And I felt like this year he didn't start off that hot. It was, okay, he's getting better, but he just has turned it on recently. A lot longer than what I'm going to tell you. But if you want to talk about recent, since the trade deadline, Jim, 23 games, 103 plate appearances. Dude is batting 347, 398, 674. A 186 weighted runs created plus, and has amassed 1.8 WAR in those 23 games. So, yeah, we're talking about MVP level type of play right here in Bobby Witt Jr. So, as bad and not as skillful as the Kansas City Royals are at this time, especially we're talking about rebuilds. They've been rebuilding for quite some time too. Bobby Witt Jr. is devastating. But hey, you get to see Bobby Witt Jr. right now. That's a treat.
Yeah. Fortunately for the Pirates, that's about all they got to worry about with this team.
Yeah.
It's rough. I mean, they've got some young guys like Michael Garcia at third base is one. He's not. He kind of reminds you of Brian Hayes, like before this recent stretch of Hayes. Like not a great hitter, but really good fielder. MJ Melendez, you'll see like he's got a ton of power, but he plays terrible defense in the outfield, and just offensively hasn't been able to put things together. They've got a lot of like former top prospects. Drew Waters, another guy who you'll see kind of patrolling around the outfield, different positions. Same thing. He's not really living up to his potential. Kyle Isbell's having like an okay season, but that's mainly because of his defense. But he can't hit either. Like none of these guys are hitting. So you look at who the Pirates have going, on the mound, and you like someone like Luis Ortiz is going to be starting one of these games. Like you hope that the Royals can almost like get Luis Ortiz on track because
Yeah.
like he's not going to face too many lineups that are like as bad as this from top to bottom. Like I said, because outside of Bobby Witt Jr., this team really doesn't have anything to offer on the offensive side of the ball. Pitching wise, we get to see Zach Greinke. So 39-year-old Zach Greinke tomorrow, who he's not the Zach Greinke of old. He's really not having a good season at all. So yeah, you look at this team and you're like, hopefully they can do some damage. I think they're going to be missing Brady Singer, who's like the one starting pitcher that you kind of worry about here. Cole Reagans is another guy who, is having a decent season for them. We face them on Tuesday. Yeah, it's not a good team. and it's funny because we just came off the Cubs series, and we talked about this on the post game shows. Like you do a comparison, like a side by side comparison of how these rebuilds are going, and you get discouraged because the Cubs kind of did it so fast and so well. You look at the Royals and you're like, we're in a better spot than them.
Oh yeah.
Because outside Bobby Witt Jr., there really is nothing. And there's nothing in the minors either. Like this team has nothing going for them for the foreseeable future except that one guy.
And to divert a little bit from the series, that's why there always is this concern. I don't believe they're going to, like the Pirates are falling in this path at all. But yeah, like the way the Tigers and Royals have gone with the rebuild after their years of tanking, they need to rebuild again.
Yeah.
Right. That's where they're at, sure. This team has Bobby Witt Jr. Great, fantastic player, but that's it. And I'm glad you mentioned about Singer because yes, it's funny because Singer was a guy that we discussed the trade deadline. Like it might be nice to see the Pirates get crafty and trade for something. Brady Singer was kind of on a radar because it's a team that probably needs to rebuild the rebuild. So they might be looking to trade a Brady Singer at his peak. So yeah, it's nice that the one player that is really, really good offensively is the only one we have to worry about offensively. And the other one that's good on the pitching side, they're not even going to face. Because like Brady Singer, not having the best season overall, but he actually has been playing better and pitching better since the All-Star break. Also, with that being said, Zach Greinke just not good, but that's a guy too. It's like it's funny as I've seen Zach Greinke pitch like in PNC Park years ago, and he's still here pitching. Yeah, what a great dude! I wish that's a guy too. Like I wish he would have been a Pirate at some point.
Yeah. I agree, and yeah, this team's just not good. Like the bullpen's terrible too. Like just all around, this is not a good baseball team. Taylor Hearn on the Royals. I just noticed that.
That's right.
How about that? Ex Pirates farmhand
Taylor Hearn revenge game coming up.
Yeah,
he's in the bullpen though, isn't he? Or
he's in the bullpen. Rotation? He's in the bullpen. Yeah, Royals 4 lefties in their bullpen, but yeah, like none of them are good. So, yeah, it's a series that you look at and you say, well, hopefully they can take at least 2 out of 3 and play some better baseball because the baseball that we saw this past weekend was bad. And like Sunday's game just like broke me down. That game yesterday against the Cubs was just one of the worst overall games that I've watched all season long. And so like I need
it's
something.
Your fault.
I need something.
It's you and Kenny's fault. You started hyping up Falter in the Discord. Kenny starts off and saying, I apologize for all my Falter slander. And then you back it up more or less saying, yeah, I'm going to have some reservations. They were interested in him last year. I'm going to see this play out. And literally literally that at bat, he gives up the home run, and that's where all the runs come in. It didn't start. I mean, everything fell apart because of you, Jim. So you have nobody to blame but yourself. I don't want to hear Charrington falter. No one else. It's you.
Are you done?
No.
I had nothing to do with it. It was Kenny's fault.
Okay, that's fine. Someone kill Kenny so we can say, "Oh my God, they killed Kenny." But you're right. This could certainly be a difference. The Cubs are a better team. We saw that they have talent, and they're a better team. And why? The Royals aren't. So it'd be nice to see the Pirates maybe win off a few games here, and then, like you said, they have St. Louis coming. They've already played St. Louis. We know how bad they are. They have the potential of actually having a winning week. So that way we can have a fun Starbucks a week from now as well. Hopefully. But yeah, so there's that. Also, I guess just talk on our end of it too, just real quick. Like Brian Hayes is still tearing it up. So as good as we talked about Bobby Witt, that actually is Brian Hayes at this point in time. Also, that's what they're gonna have to face, and their series preview people are talking about right now is how good Brian Hayes is. So hopefully he keeps that up.
Brian Hayes playing really well. Connor Joe playing very well too, and he was somebody that, after you trade Choi and Santana, he's kind of moved into this kind of hybrid first base / corner outfielder role, especially with Henry Davis on the IL, and he has really turned it on in the last few weeks. So. Yeah, a nice season that Connor Joe is putting together.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and you saw him start off the season really well, and then cool off. I think he was just maybe getting a little bit too much playing time, but right now he's kind of forced back into being an everyday player.
Yeah,
and he's running away with the opportunity.
Very much. Yep. So there's that. So are you going to make a prediction? I know we kind of ended in saying that. I'll say 2 out of 3.
Pirates are going to sweep the Royals.
I learned my lesson from the Mets. I say 2 out of 3.
Here comes a sweep. Sweep.
Hey, you all, thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.